you can simply write your own abstract about your own research. So I know some of you are doing research in native species in agroforestry systems, or biological monitoring. Maybe you're studying diatoms or amphibians or small mammals, and you have some research to present. You can just write the abstract about your own research and present that as submit it through the website as an oral presentation. And then you will get put into a session and you will have your time to present your work. And that's also a fantastic way to engage. There will also be what are called speed talks. So the oral presentations usually have a 15-minute slot time to talk, whereas a speed talk, I don't remember if they're 5 minutes or what. You'll find the detail on the website. But you're presenting your research in a very short period of time, along with many other speakers. And then it's a really nice way to get your work out if you feel you don't have enough information to take the entire 15-minute oral presentation time slot, and you still get exposed to the audience. They meet you. It's an opportunity for networking. And then there's also posters, which are really great ways to get your research out. So you make a poster of your research, and there's guidelines about how to make the poster, the size of it, what goes on it, but it's basically telling the story of your research with the introduction, the methods, etc. And you get put into a poster session. So your poster goes up on a board along with maybe 50 other posters, and it's during a certain time period. And then those 500 or so people from the conference are going to be walking by and looking at your poster, and you are going to be standing there, and you have the opportunity to attract people to come and hear you talk about your research on your poster. Last year in July, I was at the ATBC conference in India, and I was so impressed with the quality of the student research in India from the universities in India. And many students there were giving posters. And during the poster session, I went, and students had such a nice way. They would be standing in front of their poster, and they would greet you. They would say, "Hello, can I walk you through my poster?" And then I would say, the person walking by, you could say, "Yes, thank you." And then the student would just go through and tell you what they did in the poster, and you would have a really nice conversation and meet and learn about their research. And it's a great way for networking as well. So I talked a little bit about the symposia already. And again, these symposia can be around any particular theme. So I'd like you each, to think about, do you have a topic that you could organize for a symposium? And again, it could be about something that you've been thinking about your research, where there's a common theme and a set of talks, and you get to go into that set in depth. And it's really a nice opportunity after you have maybe 4 talks. Then there's open up for the audience to have a discussion with all the speakers together, and you can go deeper into that topic. And it can be up to 6 talks. So 4 is the minimum. And you have an hour and a half slot. So if you had 4, 5, or 6, that's okay. That fits into, say, a morning slot or an afternoon slot of a symposium. And if you have more speakers, if you end up having 8 to 12, you could have what's called an extended symposium with 12 speakers. And again, you ensure you leave time for discussions after each talk. So the open format sessions, as I mentioned, are a little bit more open and maybe more creative in a way, because you can decide how you want to do it. So it could be a roundtable, as I mentioned, again, around a certain topic. Often these are topics where they need more attention. There's not always consensus on, what we know, what we don't know, what are the gaps. People might be arguing or discussing about the issue. You can do it as a panel. So round table, it's often, we can organize the room into a table, a round or square, rectangular, everyone's sitting kind of facing each other. And then the dialogue happens across, and you and your colleague maybe are the moderator, and you're throwing out questions and getting the audience to talk in the round table. And the panel, as I mentioned, you usually might have 3 to 5 people on the panel to get the discussion going. And you also can do it as a debate, where you maybe have 2 or 3 teams, for example, discussing a contentious issue, or any other kind of interesting format. You can even do small group work, like breakout in a room, breakout sessions, separate tables, and then come back to discuss an issue. And these sessions are usually 2 hours. And if you needed more, you can justify that in your abstract, the proposal submission request. So let's see. So these events, whether they are symposia or any other kind of open format that I just mentioned, it's an opportunity for you to highlight your group's work. So that might be you and your supervisor and some other students in your supervisor's group. It might be you and your NGO. It might be you and any other network you're in, where you want to come together and talk about a particular issue. So the example here was like human-wildlife conflict in the Serengeti, or for Rwanda, it might be what's going on around Akagera National Park, for example. It's also an opportunity for you to invite different experts or people that you have been citing in your own research that you'd really like to meet. And you like their work, you think they do good research, you can invite them to come in and be on your panel or in your symposium to give a talk or a discussion. You can use it, again, to explore these kind of topics that you think need to be unpacked and discussed more deeply. So the example here is decolonizing tropical biology and conservation science curriculum in African universities. Where, how, and why, for example, that would make a great discussion topic for a panel. You can also use it to raise awareness if there's something that you feel really, passionate about that needs more attention. So it could be youth involvement in climate action, or the need to implement the global biodiversity framework. That would make a great session for a symposium or for one of these open session formats. And so again, there are opportunities where when they finish, you've been working with this group of people to organize the session, whether it's a symposium or any other kind of session. Often what happens is you organize a paper with them. It could be a policy brief, it could be a manuscript which synthesizes what was discussed and submit it to a journal, or it could be a special issue in a journal where you put a collection of papers together. And I've been involved in these before as a grad student in master's and PhD, and also, since then. They're really great opportunities for you to advance in your professional career, to advance ideas, and also get published. And it also can help to crystallize or bring about working groups on different topics. So if it was human-wildlife conflict around protected areas and you organized an open session, maybe there's some sustainability to that because all of you in that session agree to form a working group and advance on some of the ideas that were mentioned. And so these are all different possibilities, outcomes from organizing one of these sessions. So I want to make sure that you check the theme of the conference. So every conference has a theme. For the ATBC 2024, the theme is Achieving Inclusive Science for Effective Conservation, Adaptation, and Resilience in the Tropics. And this is quite a broad topic, so it can cover a lot of different research topics, from social sciences to the natural sciences. And and it's helpful when you're drafting your abstract to submit your proposal. You refer to the theme, how your work, how your proposal aligns with the theme. So if you want to do this, and I really, really hope that we get a lot of submissions from those of you from Rwanda and from other countries in Africa, so that we don't have this heavily dominated by people who are doing work in the tropics and doing work in Africa, but not from the region. So that's why I really want to encourage all of you. What do you need to do? Think about the topic or theme that you'd like to organize. And then what would be the best format? Should it be a symposium or should it be a panel discussion? And chat with your colleagues. Talk to your supervisor, talk to your professor colleagues, and figure out what would be a good approach. And then you develop your, what we call a game plan, like your outline, how you want to do this, who you want to invite, and how you're justifying why this is an important topic and why it should be a session at ATBC 2024. And you identify who you want to be involved in it. And then you develop the concept note, and that comes from the guidelines on that conference webpage. And you can have somebody help you to review it if you're concerned, making sure that it's going to be competitive. And you also want to contact the experts or the contributors in your session and pitch it to them and tell them what you're thinking about. They may have some ideas for you, and they will tell you, oh, this is great and I'm available, I want to attend. Or they may give you some alternative ideas. And if you have at least 3 speakers to agree, then you can submit your proposal. And it's okay to say like TBA, to be announced, if you're waiting to hear from one of your potential speakers, for example. And so bounce those ideas around, make sure you align your idea with the theme of the conference. And your abstract is only 400 to 500 words in total. So that shouldn't take you that long once you've got your good idea and you find somebody to help you to review it and edit it for you, and follow the submission guidelines and the deadlines. They're all up there on the webpage. And I put here the different sections. This is what you'll find on the web page. So it's like a template. So the title, and they tell you it can be more than 15 words, a description, which is going to summarize what you want to do, the scope, goals, objectives, and why you think it would be of relevance to the ATBC attendees. So ATBC attendees are going to be from youth and students all the way up to senior professionals in academia and government, NGO, civil society, etc. So make sure your topic will be of interest to some of those attendees. You also have a justification section, which is only 100 to 150 words, and justifying why your topic should be included in this conference, and make sure you review the criteria for the call for proposals. And then just a 1-sentence summary, because that is, if your session gets accepted, that's how it's going to be described. And so you write that last before submitting. And you want to include the list of potential speakers, so their name and their affiliation and those details. And if it's just one session, again, 4 is the minimum, 6 is the maximum. If it's an extended session, you'll have a morning and an afternoon, and you can have a total of 12. So 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, or 4 and 4. And then your visual material needs, if you're giving PowerPoint, if you need flip charts or whatever. And then any other additional comments. And you go through the online submission system. Oops. So you are responsible for making sure that you have all the speakers for your session. So you email them. This just takes some good organizing. Email them, pitch them your idea and why you think they should join you, and what it will do for them. It gives them exposure, networking opportunity, etc. And you need to do some reminders to your the speakers in your session or the participants in your session. Remind them of the abstract deadlines, make sure they submit, make sure they have registered, and make sure that they upload their talks on time. So these are just things that you'll do as the organizer of a session. And what's nice, often like when I've organized these in the past, when the conference starts, say the session I organized is on a Tuesday, I might ask my session members in the symposium, for example, let's meet Monday night before dinner, or let's have dinner together as a group and, just check in. And that's just nice because you get to meet everybody. It's not necessary, but you can do that. And then also, if you decide, it's nice to meet afterwards. If you can decide if you want to do a special issue or some kind of publication or make a working group out of it, it's nice to meet after if there's a lot of energy that came out of your session. Like an example is last year at ICCB, which I know some of you attended, I was involved in a symposium about biodiversity data platforms. And the two organizers of that event, there was a lot of great discussion, and they organized an article, and we wrote an article together. I think must be like 6 or 8 authors on it, and very efficiently done. And it got published in Nature, I think, Review. A really great experience. So there's a lot of spin-offs out of doing this that would be really great for you. As an organizer of a session, you are not responsible for paying the cost of the registration. So you're organizing the session and you're inviting speakers to the session, but you're not responsible for paying for them, any of their costs. And you're not necessarily responsible for the quality of the abstracts. So it's assumed that you're inviting people who are doing good work and have integrity. But beyond that, then it's the person who's giving the talk that's responsible for the quality of their work. So it can happen that you selected, say, 6 speakers or 4 speakers in your session, and one of them ends up not participating. They don't register, something came up and they can't be involved. What do you do? Well, you can see if you can find another speaker at last minute. That happens often. It's happened to me. I've been asked, oh, can you join this event? And I know it's because it was last minute. They couldn't find anybody else. But that's also a nice opportunity. You can also take that time, if you say had 3 speakers or 4 speakers and you meant to have 5 or 6, you could propose that the remaining time is for a discussion to open up with the audience, and you can have some questions prepared to generate like a group roundtable or group panel discussion type session. Now, the nitty-gritty of actually preparing your proposal and submitting it online, there is support out there for you. The ATBC has, they have chapters, so the Africa chapter is ready to help you, and their information is at the ATBC website. You can also contact me if you need help finding it. And there's also an ATBC capacity building committee, and they're also ready to help. And both of those can be found at the ATBC website. So I'm not talking about the conference website, but the ATBC, the association's website. All the committees are listed there, and contacts for all the committees are there. And if you're struggling with any of it, feel free to contact me. And I just want to remind you, if you don't want to get involved in a session, you don't feel ready to do that, but you do have something interesting to say, organize for your own abstract, either an oral presentation or a poster presentation. So if you're doing research or working on a topic, but you don't want to do a session, you can put in your abstract to propose to do an oral session, which would be a 15-minute time slot, and then you'll get put into a session with other oral presentations. And again, there's morning and afternoon sessions, and those are also really great opportunities. Great networking, great way to get your work out. Or you can propose to do it as a poster presentation, and posters are also really great ways to get your research out. So that's what I wanted to show you. And again, I encourage you to go to the website and check out all the details on the website of the ATBC conference. Also go to the ATBC association website, because you'll learn more about the association itself. So I'm really, really happy to answer any questions that any of you have. I see so many of you here. Really, I want to encourage you, Ferris, you should really submit about your great work on the crowned cranes. Jambier, I hope you organize a session on eDNA sampling. And Jean de Dieu and Sengeneza, you can do a great one on many different topics. It could be on your work with birds, or it could be on your work with the invertebrates. There's just, all of you have really great opportunities. Pascal, I hope you do something about your work with the dwarf water lily, either as a poster or an oral presentation, or the work of the herbarium will be a great symposium session where you bring together a bunch of speakers about that. So it's open up now, so fire away, ask questions. If you have an idea and you just want to share the idea, Delphine, you could do a great symposium session on looking at medicinal plant distribution and conservation, and get some of the people you've been working with involved in that. I hope that many of you are thinking about doing this. What are your questions? What are your ideas? Let's hear from you. Or maybe some of you just joined and you have your cameras off, so you weren't actually listening, but then you can still go to the website and check. So if there aren't any questions, then I'm thanking you all for joining, and I really hope that...
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Vinat.
Yes, last time when you gave a talk like this on ICCB, you also introduced something like volunteering in the conference to be like the protocol person doing different events, and also get the opportunity to attend the conference. And I know there are many young people who has got that chance, and I'm wondering if it is still the same or different.
Yeah, thanks. There will be the opportunities for volunteers. That hasn't been organized yet. So my talk here was focusing on how, we really want African researchers to present their research. It's been a big problem at every single international conference. Most of you don't actually engage with the science, and you attend seminars and you don't ask questions, you don't present your research. So that was the focus of my presentation here, is to really encourage you. When I went to India, so many students were presenting their research, and I really want to see you here doing that. You do good quality research and you present it in these international fora, like a conference like this. And you're so lucky that it's here in Kigali this year. And in ICCB last year, I know some of you also presented. So that was great. There will be volunteer opportunities, and they will be announced probably in a couple of months. And then, as we did with ICCB, I really hope a lot of you young people will have the opportunity to get involved in that. But I still want to encourage you to actually go as a professional, whether you're a youth or senior. Go and attend and participate as a researcher. And give a talk, ask questions, engage with the other scientists. It's going to be really a great opportunity. Any other questions? If you have an idea, you can pitch it right now, and we can listen to you and give you some feedback. Don't be shy. Yes, Regis.
Hi, Beth. Thank you for your time and for this meeting. I'm sorry I joined late. I was in transit. So, but where I just find it's really amazing. And I wanted to know if it's only for the online meetings or they're also planning for a physical meeting. Like, my apologies because I joined late. I didn't get it that
Okay.
And,
yeah, no problem.
How is it how are you thinking, like, through this to engage the undergraduate students as well? Thank you.
So I can give an example, Regis, like your work with this, the SDGs would make a fantastic open session. So you can go to the website of the ATBC, and I'm going to put it into the chat again in case some of you missed it and you can write it down. But an open session, just to repeat, and there's the link, can be a panel discussion, and I know you've organized many of those, or it can be like a debate or a roundtable discussion. And you could do something around, youth involvement in SDGs, or how are SDGs, or why they should be integrated better into the curriculum, or maybe Green Campus. And for example, this Green Campus project, I am certain that University of Rwanda is not the only university that's trying to green their campus. So that would make a great topic either for a symposium session where you invite 4 to 6 speakers to give a talk about how they are addressing greening their campus, or it could also be more like a panel discussion around any of those issues. So that's where, undergrads can be involved. I mean, the point is, if you're doing good work, it doesn't really matter at what level you're at, because it's really about the quality of the work you're doing. So if you're doing good quality work, there's no reason why you can't submit a proposal. And if you feel a little uncertain, get somebody to help you and mentor you. And there's lots of people out there. Like I said, the ATBC Africa section and the ATBC Capacity Building Committee, they will be very interested in supporting you and mentoring you and reviewing any of your abstracts. And I'm also happy to help and mentor there. Miriam Mujo Maria at University of Rwanda, she's also a counselor of ATBC, and she's on the local organizing committee. So she'll also be, I'm volunteering her, but I think she'll be willing to help as well. So you have support. So don't be afraid to try and submit. You won't lose anything. The process of writing the proposal is also an eye-opening experience. You learn a lot from that. So thank you for that question, Regis. And Sandrine, I saw your hand went up.
Thank you so much, Beth. I would like to ask if there will be like the registration fee waiver for the students. Thanks.
Right now, we haven't figured that out. We are working now through the fundraising committee to raise funding. So something I've been working on is trying to get sponsorships from different organizations. So if any of you know any organizations that could be doing sponsorships, let me know. So we're developing the material, and then we're going to go after different entities that could sponsor. And what we are targeting are students from the global south, so from countries in Africa and also Asia and South America. But our priority is students on the continent of Africa, and we're really working hard to get funding to defray their costs. The issue is that running a conference is very, very expensive. We have to rent the venue, and and there's the coffee, tea breaks, and lunches and dinners are expensive. So that's what we need to raise the money for, so that we can give defray the costs for students. Yeah, so we're working hard at that. Then I saw, let's see, the next hand up. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe Joseph, do you want to go ahead and ask?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Joseph.
Hi, thank you, Beth, for nice presentation. It's really good and interesting. And yes, thank you that it's open to everyone and for whatever research is doing. Actually, I'm not a researcher by academics. I'm conservationist by ambition and passion. But I have seen many conservation issues arising everywhere I work and where I go. So that's why I get interested to join this meeting. Then maybe I can learn more, or maybe join the symposium or present something.
Yeah.
So I would let you know I'm not a student from University of Rwanda. I have already graduated from University of Tourism and Technology and Business Studies. So if there is some fees to join, what will be happen? Because he said that it's based for the student, and I'm not longer still a student. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think, thank you. First of all, thank you for joining. And I know that you're doing really, really interesting and impactful work. And I think you could think about organizing one of these open sessions. You and some of the other young people you're working with who are doing the fabulous work, you could organize a session around the work that you're doing in conservation or tourism, and some of the issues you're observing. Think about the theme and how you'd like to frame it, and it could make a really interesting session. And people want to hear about the good work that young people like you are doing. You don't have to be a researcher, so this is also for practitioners and policymakers and managers. And then, let's see, as far as not being a student right now, again, I don't know the exact criteria, but I suspect we're going to have it open more as to young people, for example. There may be a category of, you have to be a student. I'm not sure yet. But I hope that there will be opportunities where you can also get involved as a volunteer. But I don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet. But as far as the cost for registration, as I mentioned to Sandrine, we are looking at raising the money, like through sponsorships, so that we can offer free registration to as many students and young people like you as we can. And there'll be some kind of application process. So please do stay connected. You can sign up on the ATBC conference website to get the email updates about it. So then you'll be regularly informed when, like, for example, when there are the calls for volunteers and things like that. Yeah, thank you. So Jean-Paul, you've got your hand up? Jean-Paul, are you still there? Do you want to ask a question or make a comment? Maybe he's not there now. Okay. Oh, good. Jimena Gil, you want to go ahead and ask your question? Go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this presentation. It was captivating. I would like to ask a question about this ATBC conference for us to be participating and being engaged. For me, as personally, I'm an undergraduate student. I'm doing my final year project. I'll be working on things like amphibian conservation and their habitat. So after this presentation goes, and if as I'm an undergraduate, if I can organize and to arrange this my topic so that can be presented in the conference. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. Yeah, that's great. You can, if you're doing your senior year project and you've gotten good data and you have, a good research design and you want to present that research, it sounds like it could be a poster or an oral presentation, and you can talk to your supervisor and see how that would fit best. But it's definitely doable if you finish the project and you have some interesting results to present. And again, it would be for you a really wonderful way to network, because people will come to see your poster or hear you talk if they're also working on the same system or species you are. So I can give you an example. Like for you, you might want to read about the posters on the ATBC conference website. And then you can also think about the speed talk. This is for all of you that are new, maybe the first time you're going to an international conference. You can think about the speed talk because it's going to be much shorter. I don't know exactly the criteria for speed talk, but it'll be on the website, ATBC conference website, but they're short. So you get your talk over quickly. You only have about 5 slides and you do need to practice it, but it's a little bit less scary than having 15-minute time slot. So that's something you might think about, Jimena Guild, for your work. So I really encourage you. There's no reason why you couldn't present your work at the ATBC 2024. And let's see, Delphine.
Yes. Thank you so much, Professor. Hi. Thank you so much for your good presentation. Yes, I'll be happy to present my abstract about species distribution modeling. I'm sorry, I joined late, but I really want to thank you for your interest in trying to show us a good way and trying to show us different doors, opportunity to knock. I really appreciate that. And thank you for your good presentation. Of course, I'll be happy to present my abstract.
Excellent, good. And I think you can talk to, sorry, I'm forgetting his name, Israel. Yeah, about proposing you could organize a symposium together, because he's doing also a species modeling work. Or if the theme is more around medicinal plants, finding some other experts to collaborate on that or to invite as speakers. I think that'd be a really great session.
I will try to contact him.
Yeah. And then let's see. I think I don't know if Jean-Paul is his hand is still up, but maybe his internet isn't working. I wanted to mention also, Vinat had said, last time for ICCB, we talked about the volunteer opportunities, and I'd be happy to do another presentation, maybe closer to the July conference, so maybe in May, and I can talk specifically about how to get the most out of attending the international conference, and just different strategies, as well as we can discuss the different volunteering opportunities. But, I see a lot of times when students, their first time at a conference, you might go with your friends and then you all stay together and stick together with your friends, maybe because you're shy, a little bit overwhelmed, and you don't really interact. You don't get out there and meet other people, and you don't get the fullest out of the conference. So we could talk about some strategies to get you to step out a little bit from your comfort zone and go up and talk to some of the people that you really want to meet or ask more questions about their work. Make sure you attend sessions that you're really interested in. So how you go through the abstract booklet in advance. So you, on the conference agenda, you plan out in advance which talks and sessions you want to attend. And then, have your notebooks so you're taking notes and getting contacts from people. That's also a really helpful thing. So I can work with Venant to organize that before the conference, sometime in May or June. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Well, if not, I hope that all of you have a
Sorry,
great
Beth.
day. Yeah.
I see the hand for Jean-Paul Twishime, and don't know if it's a legacy.
I've been asking him, but he doesn't seem to be able to answer. So,
okay. Yeah, maybe you can pause.
And Salim has kindly recorded this, and he'll make it available on the YouTube channel, so you can have a look at that. And I, again, remind you to check out the ATBC 2024 conference website, and that's where you'll be able to get all the details about how to submit and everything like that. So, all right. Yeah. Okay. I think I can do one last time. I think if Jean-Paul, I think, still isn't able to ask his question. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's not working. All right. So thank you all again. Thank you so much, Venant, for organizing this. And thanks to all of you for attending. I'm really expecting to see a lot of you submitting for something: poster, speed talk, oral presentation, a symposium, an open session. Yeah, you all are well qualified. You can do it, and you have support. So thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you too.
Bye, or see you next time. It's Wednesday, 3 p.m.